All right. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Please say yes on the chat if you can hear me. You can all hear me. Please do say yes on the chat. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's good to know. Okay. Good to see. Good to see. I think we also have a lot of people joining on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. So for those on the YouTube channel, do also let me know if you can hear me. Okay. You guys can also hear me. That is awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, just to say hi, so that I know you're around. That's great. Okay, cool. We'll start in a couple of minutes, everybody. So nice to see so many people here. Awesome. Okay. Cool. So do tell your friends really quickly that the session has started, and that would be, starting with the practice stuff right now. Coming to the people on YouTube, I will not be taking so many of the doubts of the people on YouTube. I'm going to focus mostly on people who are on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom with me, that's on the Edyst platform, then I'll be able to take that. But do leave your message on the chat. Maybe if I have time, I'll take your doubts as well. Also, the people joining on YouTube, just giving a quick introduction, and then I'll come to all of you all. So if you're watching on YouTube, check out the comments, check out the description to know about where to practice on the platform. So just check out the description below. We have the link to our course as well, so you can check that out over there. That will help you practice all of the questions that we're doing. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining in today. I will start off with where we left off yesterday. So just give me 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, just checking my connection. 1 second. Cool. Hold on a second. All right, something up with my connection a little bit. Okay. Also, before I start the session as well, do hit the like button, right? So do hit the like button on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube or watching on Edyst, but just do hit the like button so more people can find out about us. And hit the subscribe button so that you get updates about all of these kind of sessions all the time. We are doing many more sessions. After InfyTQ is Hack with Infy, and we are going to do a huge amount of sessions for Hack with Infy as well. So yeah, we'll be doing both. Okay, so today, let's just do a quick recap. All right, in the past few days, what we have already done, let me just do a quick recap. What we've already covered is OOP, MCOOP, and exception handling concept, exception handling concepts for both Java and Python, right? So for MCQs, both Java and Python. Data structures concepts. This is, we still have some remaining, so we'll be covering in the upcoming classes. All right, so we're going to be covering this as well, and covered roughly, I would say 50% of it already. And then what we've also covered is SQL questions, right? But some MCQs are pending, right? So the MCQs are pending, and we'll be covering them in upcoming classes. So just to give you a brief introduction, yesterday, that is what is yesterday's date, 1st Feb, we looked at 3 coding questions, or either 2 coding questions, and we said we are going to take 1 coding question for homework, coding Q for homework. So that's what we had finished yesterday. So this is where we left off yesterday, where we finished 2 coding questions, and we said that we will look at 1 coding question today. And that coding question to look at, we discussed the logic a little bit, but I'm getting requests that I should repeat the logic, so I shall repeat that logic as well. Okay. And so the coding question we looked at yesterday was this question called consecutive numbers in matrix. That was the question. Let me just share the screen with all of you. Hold on. Okay, here you go. So that question to be discussed was this one, which was consecutive number in matrix. Okay. So if there is attendance for this class, or can we also watch on YouTube? You can watch on YouTube. As far as attendance, please check with your college, not as much with me, but do check with your college on that front. Okay, cool. So anyways, coming back. So we're going to look into this question here, which is consecutive numbers in a matrix. So now consecutive numbers in a matrix, just to quickly revise, you're going to be given an M cross N matrix. And whenever you're given an M cross N matrix, what you should realize is M is the row and N is the column. So M is the row and N is the column over here. And they're very clearly told you that N, that is the number of columns, is one more than the number of rows. So for example, when they've given you 6, they're going to give you input only as 6. They're not going to give you a 6, 7. They're going to give you input as 6. And what you need to do is take input of the entire 2D array. Once you've taken the input of that 2D array, what you need to do is find if any number is consecutive for 3 times, either in row, column, or diagonals. So what we need to do is we need to find out if the row, so for example, in this case, 2 occurs multiple times. Let me just show that to you on this canvas over here. Right. So for instance, this is the example given to us. Right? This is the example given over here. And the idea was, so the idea was something like this, that if I had to figure out which elements are consecutive. So there are many elements that are consecutive. Which ones do we choose? So for example, you could choose these two, this one, 2, 2, and 2, right? This is consecutive. Then 5, 5, 5, also consecutive. Is there anything consecutive in diagonals? Let's have a look. There must be some diagonal also that is kind of consecutive. Just trying to see. So if you look at it, no, not able to find 1 in a diagonal. Yeah, no, 1 is not really consecutive in a diagonal. Is it somewhere consecutive? Right, let's just check out. Is 1? No, 1 is not consecutive in diagonal. 1 is consecutive in a row like this. Okay, but what we're trying to say is that it could also be in a diagonal as well. So for instance, I know this is not consecutive, but had this 2 been also 2, for example, right? So it could have been this as well, right? So 2, 2, 2 could have been one diagonal. It's not, but I'm just giving an example. So this is a diagonal that you can take off. You can also think of the other diagonal, as we were discussing yesterday. You could also think of the diagonal of something like this. Let's say this kind of a diagonal. So I'll just highlight it so you can get the idea. So something like, let's say this one, 5, 6, 2. While it's not, but I'm just telling you that it could also be this diagonal. So we have to consider all the possible diagonals. That is, if I had to think of it correctly, I am looking at it horizontally. I'm thinking of it vertically. I am thinking of it, bottom right, and I'm also looking at it as top right. And by looking at bottom right, I am hoping that I'm also kind of taking of bottom left as well, right? So I'll tell you the strategy over here. But the idea is it could be any of these the consecutive elements. It could be like straight, vertical, right, left, any one of them, right? So we kind of stopped here last time, and we said that you should try this out as a homework. How many of you tried this out as a homework? Everyone, how many of you actually tried this one out as a homework? Anybody? And how far did you get when you tried this out? Okay, so for those of you who tried out, yeah. So one student already did it and told me yesterday itself. So thank you for that. What about others? How many of you actually tried it and could solve it, but it took 2 hours? Awesome. You solved it. That's the important thing. It took 2 hours. You will have 2 hours in InfyTQ to do it. Don't worry. But you could do it within 2 hours. That's a very great news. Okay, good. What else? What about others? Were you able to get this solution for this question? Okay, no output. All right, could not get an output. Okay. Somebody saying did not get output. What about others? Did you try this out? Did not try it out? What is the scene? Somebody saying I've done it. Can I send the code? No, don't need to send the code. It's fine. I didn't get correctly, but you tried, right? That's the important part, right? I got 1 hidden test cases wrong. Good, very good. So you're almost there. In the real InfyTQ, you might even get some partial marking. Somebody saying I got it. Awesome. Okay, that's great. You got it. Great. Okay, so for those of you who got it, or for those of you who tried, tell me the approach. Tell me what's the approach that you tried out of there. So try to tell me the approach. What is it? I've Okay, tried but didn't get correctly. No problem. Can you please repeat the question once again? Simply put, you're going to get an m cross n array. You have to find a number which occurs 3 times. When I say 3 times, it has to occur 3 times consecutively, either as in a row or in a column or diagonally. In any one of those ways, if it's occurring. In our example here, we said 2 occurs vertically, 1 occurs horizontally, and here 2 occurs diagonally. So all of these are occurring once. If you have multiple occurring ones, what do you choose? As per the question, it says if there are multiple such numbers, then print the minimum of those numbers. So that's what we'll end up choosing. In our question, the minimum one would be 1. There's nothing lesser than that. So we'll choose 1 over there. Okay. Cool. So I hope the question is repeated. Others, can you please tell me your approach? What approach did you follow while doing this question? Please do tell me your approach. Okay, so somebody's saying we followed the same approach that was discussed yesterday. I checked whether there are a number of out of bounds, and I added those elements to a tree set, and then I printed the elements of a tree set. Okay, interesting. So a Java student here has used tree set. Cool. So all right. So what somebody's done is basically, let me tell you the approach, how you would think of the approach over here. So what you do is you go through the entire array, and we actually discussed the approach also a little bit yesterday. I think it was this one, right? No, this was one of those questions. We'll just look at this. We kind of discussed this approach last time, right? And yesterday what we discussed was basically for any particular aij, check the next 2 elements, aij plus 1 and aij plus 2, right? Then check the next 2 rows, that would be ai plus 1j and ai plus 2j. Then check the next diagonal would be ai plus 1j plus 1 and ai plus 2j plus 2. And also take the previous diagonal, right? So if it's aij, ai plus 1, j minus 1 and ai plus 2, j minus 2. Take this. And our idea was that this will help us take all of the diagonals. Why will it help us take all the diagonal? You might say, sir, but this northeast diagonal has not been taken, right? So like, for example, for 5, this 5 is at my center right now, right? So 5, I did I plus 1, I plus 2, but kept the j constant. So that would be this. I did I plus 1, j plus 1 and I plus 2, j plus 2, which would be this one, right? I did I plus 1, j minus 1 and I plus 1, j minus 2, which would be this one. And I did the simple ij plus 1, ij plus 2, which would be this first one, right? So I checked these ones. Now you might say, sir, but for 5, you did not end up checking this side, nor you ended up checking 7 and 5. Well, the answer to that is, when I was at this 5, I ended up checking those 3 elements. So I'm fine to do that. Or when I was at this 6, I ended up checking these consecutive elements, right? So as long as you do this, right? So if you check the right side, the left will automatically get checked because you would have checked the previous element. If you check the south side, then the north would have automatically got checked because the above element would have checked the south side. If I check the southeast side, if you check the southeast side, that is this one, automatically the northwest side also gets checked. Why? Because when I was at 3, 3, 4, 5 was in southeast. Okay. Same thing with this 5, 1, 1. What I was doing was I checked 5, 1, 1 here. So for this 2, 6, 5 was also checked, right? So somebody's saying, aren't the first 3 statements enough? The problem with the first 3 statements alone is I don't end up checking this diagonal. The east to west diagonal, I don't end up checking. Like, no, I would say northeast to southwest, that diagonal needs to be checked. If I don't use this last statement, I miss out on that. Okay. So somebody's saying to repeat again, sure. Simply put, we take input the entire array. We'll take input the entire array. We'll go through each number. For each number, we will make sure we are checking the east side. So that would be ij plus 1 and ij plus 2. We check the south side, I plus 1j, I plus 1, j plus 2. Sorry, I plus 1j and I plus 2j. Okay, that's this one. I check the southwest side. So that would be ij, I plus 1, j minus 1, I plus 2, j minus 2. And I check the southeast side, aij, I plus 1, j plus 1, I plus 2, j plus 2. Okay, I hope you got that, right? Is that clear? Somebody asked me to explain again. Did you understand that part? Others, are you clear logically what we are trying to do over here? Okay, cool. So the approach I'll follow, and I'll solve it in both Java and Python. Don't worry. But the approach to follow is as follows. Take input the array, go through each element and check for consecutive elements, right? Somebody saying, how do we solve it using tree sets? You don't need to worry about that, right? I'll show you how we'll solve it. You don't need to use tree set or anything, right? Okay, and check for consecutive elements. How do you check for consecutive elements? I just showed that in the previous slide. After I've done that, what do? I have to make sure I take the minimum. When consecutive are found, make sure you take only minimum element. Okay, cool. So we'll do this one by one. Let's start. And yesterday I was doing Python first, so I'll do Java first today, just to humor you guys, but I'll do it in both, don't worry. So let's very quickly do it. So public static void main string args. Somebody saying, what's the next question? You guys tell me what's the next question. I'll accordingly do it. You tell me what's the next question, I'll take that one. All right, so okay. So I'll take this one up, which is public static void main string args. I'll do scanner scan is equal to new scanner system.in. Okay, and now I have to take the array as input. So before that, what I'll do is I'll take the m as input, m or n rather. One second, let me just check. M, because n will be m plus 1 anyway. So I'll say int m is equal to scan.next int. And after that, I'll say int n is equal to m plus 1. Then I create the array, int arr is equal to new int m cross n. Okay, so I create that. Now I have to take input this. How do you take input? Again, do a 2 for loops. I is equal to 0, I less than m, I plus plus. And again, this is all standard stuff. If you've done your Java programming, we do teach all of this in the taking input part, right? So yeah, let's take this up. J less than 0, j less than n, j plus plus. Somebody's asking, language doesn't matter, right? Does that play an important role in InfyTQ? It does. InfyTQ it absolutely does. It really matters which language you chose. Now, which one to choose, which will give you advantage? Nothing will give you advantage. You just need to have mastery over one language. Choose the language you're better at. That's it. Okay, I is equal to 0, I less than m. So then what I do after this is arr I, comma j is equal to scan dot next int. Okay, somebody saying line I. Yeah, thank you so much. Line 9 int arr. We needed those square brackets. If you guys are there, I don't really need compilers. Thank you so much. So arr ij scan dot next int. So I've taken the entire array as input. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to say now to go through the entire array again, right? Okay, it has to be a 2D array. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now I have to go through the entire array again. But this time when I go, I should check for consecutive elements. Now, as I discussed yesterday, it's not as simple as just taking the consecutive element. Because, for example, let's say you are at this 2. You will have a south direction. For sure, you'll have an east direction. For sure, you'll have a southeast direction. But you'll not have a southwest direction. So like for this 5, you have 1, 1. For this 2, you don't have anything like that, right? So that would cause you a problem. Similarly, for this 4, I cannot have a southeast direction. I cannot have that, right? For this 2 over here, I cannot have an east direction. It has to stop over here. So what I'll need to do is I'll make sure that while I'm going through the array, and let me do that. Let me actually go through the array. It's the same loop as we did over here. So I'll have to go through the array like this. Yeah, that's for the array. This is for the main method, and that is for the main class. Okay. So as I'm going through the array, let's just write as if all of them are allowed. Okay. So if all of them are around, I'll go east, I'll go south, I'll go southeast, and I will go southwest, right? So if all of them are allowed, what am I going to do? I'll say that, okay, if let's say if I just have to go east, right? So if ARR IJ equal to ARR IJ plus 1 and ARR IJ plus 1 equal to second, yeah, ARR IJ plus 2, right? So if this is the case, if it is indeed a consecutive number, then I can just like probably take an int answer over here, right? So let's say int answer, and I'll what should I keep the int answer as? Let's say I keep the int answer as some 1,000, right? Big, it has to just be a big number. Ideally speaking, it's much better than that. But yeah, and I'm just taking a big number over here, and I'm saying that if this is the case, if it's consecutive, then I will say answer is equal to ARR I comma j. And in fact, it has to be the minimum of this, but we'll come to that. We'll come to that part separately. So answer is equal to ARR I comma j. If I have to check for the south part, it will look something like this. So else if on the south side it's consecutive, so I'll say I plus 1 j and I plus 2 j, sorry, I plus 1 and this I plus 1 j is equal to I plus 2 j over here. So this comes up for the south part. Okay, is this correct? Yeah, that's the south part. All right, cool. So after the south part, then I want to do the southeast part, let's say. So for the southeast, ij is equal to I plus 1 j plus 1 and I plus 1 j plus 1 is equal to I plus 2 j plus 2, right? Somebody is asking, why is n equal to m plus 1? It's given in the question. It's given in the question, n is equal to m plus 1. This is the case over here, southeast, and then finally, second, yeah, and then finally southwest, right? So that would be I plus 1 j minus 1 and I plus 1 j minus 1 is equal to I plus 2 j minus 2. This would be the southwest, right? So this is the case. Okay. Now again, as I mentioned, the edge case here is I will run into edge cases here. For example, if j is at the last, if it's the last column, it cannot go further east. So the edge case here has to be that j plus 2 should still be valid. J plus 2 should still be valid. Then only I can check this condition. Similarly, so what I should check, I not a problem, but j plus 2 should still be valid. That's one. Over here also, I plus 1 and I plus 2 should still be valid. Same thing with here, I plus 1 and I plus 2, even both j plus 1 and j plus 2 should still be valid. And same thing here, j minus 1 and j minus 2 should all be valid. It should not be that j minus 2 becomes less than equal to 0, right? That's only when I can check it. So what I'll do is I'll add another statement here that while, so if this is the case, if we have to also check that j is less than equal to n minus 2, right? Or rather n minus 3. So that when I add j plus 2, it will become n minus 1. Right? So j has to be less than equal to n minus 3. So otherwise, if it's n minus 2 also, this will be give me out of bounds. It will become n, which is the number of columns, which I cannot have. So j has to be less than equal to n minus 3. I believe this will work because in Java, it should happen that if the first one is false, it will not even check the other ones. So let's just check it like that. Right? Other thing that you can do is also very easily do j plus 2 should be less than n. That's also fine. Right? So j plus 2 should be less than n. This is another thing we can say. Okay. That makes sense. Same thing over here. I plus 2 should be less than m. I plus 2 should be less than m. What else? In this case, I plus 2 should be less than m, and j plus 2 should be less than n in this case over here, because both I and j are increasing. And in this case, I minus 2, no, sorry, I plus 2 should be less than m, but j minus 2 should be greater than or equal to 0. J minus 2 greater than or equal to 0. Why are we doing j plus 2 less than n? We are doing j plus 2 less than n because if j plus 2 becomes greater than n or even equal to n, it will hit the final array, right? I mean the final column. So if you have ARR mn over here, is ARR let's say 0 comma n, is that a valid index? No, right? At max you can go to ARR m minus 1 comma n minus 1. You cannot go further than this, right? Similarly, what is the least that you can go to? You can go to ARR 0 and 0. This is the least. I cannot go to ARR minus 1, right? In Java, at least you cannot do. So that's why I'm doing that here. J minus 2 should be greater than or equal to 0 because I am going to j minus 2. I am going to j minus 2. So if j minus 2 happens to be less than 0, what do I do with that? Right? I can't do anything on that. So as long as j minus 2 is less, then that's not big, right? Okay. So in competitive programming, if you assign any numbers for min max, it will cause errors, I think. Yeah, that's a separate competitive programming thing. We'll just focus on InfyTQ right now. I'll come to what you actually mean. I understand what you mean by that. Okay, cool. So that's the case. And now remember what we're doing is, so we found consecutive elements, but we don't want to find any consecutive elements. We actually want to find the minimum consecutive element. Okay. I want to find the minimum consecutive element and print that. So in this case, it was 1. I want to find the minimum consecutive element. So if whichever consecutive element I find, if I say that that's ARR I comma j, I can't really do that, because let's say the last consecutive number I find is 5, but I had found a 1 previously. So I should not update it. I should only update it when I find a number lesser than my previous number. So somebody's saying, can we just store this in a list and then find the minimum of the list? You can do that. That's completely fine also. I'll just do something like math.min answer, comma, ARR I, comma j. What this will do is it will find the minimum of the two numbers. Answer is equal to, either it will be answer, maybe answer is lesser, or ARR I, comma j is lesser. Let me just also just make this a star, so it will import all of the things. So if you want to find the minimum of two numbers, you can use math.min. That's how it will do. And I'll use this everywhere instead of saying it's ARR IJ. All it does is it says that take the minimum of the two elements. This ARR IJ is consecutive. Okay, great. Then take the minimum of the current answer and ARR IJ. Right? Why to take minimum? Because the answer says if you find multiple such consecutive numbers, then you need to take the minimum number of them. That's what the question says. So we're only doing it because the question said so. Okay. All right. Then finally speaking, we come out of this loop and we say not ARRIJ, I should print answer. So let's see what errors we get. First of all, might just be all right. So in this case, it passes. 8 is the consecutive one, so it passed in this case. And if I submit it, all right, so it did pass both the test cases. Cool. Okay, some things to note, by the way. Yeah, some things to note about why something that could possibly considered wrong is the way we defined this minimum value. Okay, let's say the entire array was something like this. Let's say the entire array was something like this. Or rather, this was the array, right? Something like this. So these are consecutive numbers. Let's say these were 3 consecutive numbers, but it will actually never take this as the answer, because I'm initializing my answer to be already less than the consecutive number that I find, right? So this would be a wrong minimum value for me to take. Initially, I'm trying to take this minimum value and trying to say that, okay, this is the minimum value. And every other value I'll compare to this. If it's lesser, then I'll consider minimum. But in the array itself, I could possibly find some numbers which are greater than this, but are consecutive. So our default value here is wrong. The ideal way to do it is to take it as integer dot max value. What's the purpose of this integer dot max value? It's that it will ensure that anything compared with this will be lesser only. This is the maximum value of integer. If you compare minimum between two numbers, it will always say that this is greater than that number. It's going to be the max value. So even if you compare this big number to integer dot max value, it will say, yeah, this number is lesser. Its only sole purpose is to be a comparative value. Okay. Now again, in InfyTQ, if you ended up taking like that one followed by a lot of zeros, there is no problem. You can nobody will say. I think they are not going to give such a high number. Generally speaking, I have found that in services companies, but still, to be like purely correct, that's why we did that. So now if I run this and submit, it's the same answer. We get the same answer over here. Okay, cool. All right. So somebody asking, can you give me example of math.min? So all math.min does is it takes two numbers as parameters, and it will give you the minimum value between those two numbers. That's all it's doing. So if there's a math.min, there's a math.max also. Okay. All right. So please go through the code and let me know if you have any doubts or questions. Then I'll go to the Python implementation of this. Okay. Meanwhile, let me check some examples. Can you show the j plus to I plus 2 logic using the array in the PPT slide? Okay. Somebody saying, what if there is no consecutive elements? The question has not told us what to do if there is no consecutive elements, right? So it's not told us. If this kind of thing comes in InfyTQ, you have to try out and hope that that's the case. Like there are no consecutive elements. Basically, that's all you have to hope for. That's it. Sure, I'll revise it. Not a problem. I'll revise it. Okay, cool. So let me look at some more questions that are coming in. So can you show the j plus 2 I plus 2 logic? Okay, that's simple. See, what I was trying to say was, let's say you are at this 2. Okay, you are at this particular 2 over here, which is let's say it's something like this red. Okay, at this 2. Let me just mark it over here. Okay. So once explain southwest condition, sure. See, let's say I'm at this 2. I'm at this 2, or better than that, let's say I'm at this 0. If I try to get the east, what do I look for in the east? I look at I j plus 1, which is this 3, and then I look at I j plus 2. But is there an I j plus 2? Can you see an I j plus 2 over here? Yes, no, no. If I can't see it, it means it's going to give me an out of bounds error. To avoid that is why I put that condition. Extrapolate the same thing to I plus 2 j plus 2. If I try to go for southeast, so I'm at 0, I try to go for southeast over here, it will be 0, 2, and then there is nothing further below that, right? I don't have nothing below this 2. So that's the I plus 2 j plus 2 condition. I'm not able to reach that. Somebody saying explain southwest. Southwest is simple. I'm trying to take this 0, or rather I'm trying to do this 5, 1, 1. So I'm at ij. I want to go to next row, previous column. Next row will be I plus 1. Previous column will be j minus 1. And again, next row, previous column, I plus 2, j minus 2. So I hope you got that. Right. Somebody asking, why did we go for if condition? Why did we go for all else if condition? Why could I just not do else if condition in all? If you found out that one number is consecutive and you're finding it again and again consecutive, why to do that? I thought that if I found it consecutive once, I don't need to check again the same number if it's consecutive, right? If you found that this 2 is consecutive like this in the south, why would you want to check if 2 is consecutive in the east and 2 is consecutive in the southeast? Doesn't make sense, right? So can you show? Okay, I showed that. Can you show that? Okay. All right. So we'll just do a quick revision of this before I go to the Python one. Simply speaking, I take input first. Then after I take the input, I assign the maximum value to be my answer. And I assign that because then now any new answer I get will definitely be lesser than this answer. After that, what I'm doing is I'm going through the entire array. Once I've gone through the array, I'm saying that for each element, I'm making sure I check the consecutive elements in east, southeast, south, and southwest. And this covers all of my directions. Once I check for all of them, I make sure that I'm checking a valid thing. So for example, here you have j plus 2. less than n. Why am I checking that? Because there should be elements on the east, right? It should not be that that's the last one. There should be some elements. Same thing, there should be elements in the south. That's why I'm checking I plus 2. So in order to not go out of bounds, I check this. Okay, I put these conditions and I check if there's any consecutive elements or not. All right. Okay, I hope that's clear. Is it clear, Java students? Is there anything else that you guys want over here? Whenever I find a new number, I just make sure that I'm taking the minimum number between the new number and my current number. Java students, is that clear? All right, please do let me know on the chat if that's clear. Okay, cool. Let me go on to the Python questions. Let me just quickly do this in Python as well. All right, in Python, the only new thing that you will probably find is the way we are taking input. Okay, so let's first take the input as a number of rows, which is m is equal to int input. This is the number of rows that are in input, and then every row after that is m, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we say n is equal to m plus 1. Okay, now how do you actually take 2D array as input over here? We'll create an ARR is equal to a list. We'll take each row as a list input and we'll keep appending to this. What is a 2D list? It's nothing but a list of lists. So I'm going to take each row as an input. Once I take each row as an input, I am going to append it to my ARR list. All right. How do I take a row as an input? A row is a 1D list. So how do I take a 1D list as an input? I just simply say current row is equal to list map int input dot split. And this is standard. You guys should probably all know this right now. And I'm going to repeat this how many times? I have to take m rows, right? I have to take m rows. So I say for I in range m. So I have to take m rows as input. Each row is this. All right, cool. Further on, now I've taken this entire 2D array or 2D list as an input. Now I need to go through each element. So I'll create an answer over there, and I have this answer also has to be some big number. You can also do the int max and all of that. I believe in Python it's called infinity. You can just do inf infinity, but I'll come to that, right? Just focus on this one right now. So I took a big number as the maximum answer. Now I'm going to go through all of the rows and all of the columns. So I'll go for I in range m, for j in range n, right? My current element is going to be ARR I, j, just like Java. I have to check east, south, southeast, and southwest. So let me do that. If ARR I j equal to ARR I j plus 1 and ARR I j plus 1 equal to ARR I j plus 2, right? And so on. Yeah. So it would be cool if you could just actually, 1 second. This will give us wrong, but I'll just actually try to take from here, just save us some time. So they've already written this stuff here and it's mostly the same syntax, roughly the same. Okay, cool. So let me just write that here. If j plus 2 less than n, yes. Right, so that was the east part. Just make this as and same thing over here is equal to this. Answer is equal to, in Python you don't need to do math.min, you can just do min of these two things. So I don't need to do math.in, and let me just get the indentation right. That's the main thing. All right, cool. Same thing here, just make this as and this as and. This should be elif. And this will be min of this. All right, cool. So far so good. Then we'll come to the southeast part. Again, elif. Okay. And again this and over here and over here and over here, right? And we get this, which is minimum. Then we go southwest. LF, and again. So just a bunch of typing. And if you are saying that, oh, so much typing, first of all, you'll get 3 hours in the test for the overall, and 2 hours you can easily spend on coding. Secondly, that's how InfyTQ is, honestly. Like it's, if once you got the logic, they will still not give you super logical questions. It'll still be very difficult in terms of implementation, not difficult, just tedious, lengthy. Okay, cool. So this will be the case. I did this for in range, this, and then I just have to print the answer, right? So if I run this, okay, I forgot to put a colon somewhere, which was over here, but the colon here, and answer is equal to min, expected an indentation block. Yeah, did not indent this one, yep. And yeah, out of bounds. So if j plus 2 less than n, okay, this is line 14. If j plus 2 less than n, but it's still going out of bounds. And if j plus 2 less than n is false, then it should just get out of it. Why is it checking further? 1 second. Did we go in the wrong thing? N is equal to m plus 1 for j in range n. Oh, okay. We took the row, but we never appended it to the array. So our input taking was wrong. We took the row, but we never actually appended it to the array actually. So yeah, now I think it should work out. It works out, and submitted, it works out. All right. So again, for all the Python students, we did something very, very simple. We just took the number of rows as input. This is the number of columns as input over here. We got the number of columns by adding m plus 1. It's given in the question. We created a 2D list. What we said was it's a list. We'll take a row as an input, and we'll keep adding each row to our list, because a 2D list is nothing but a list of lists. After doing that, I say that assume an answer to be a big number. Okay. Now I'll compare whether this particular, I'll go through each element and check if it's consecutive or not. If it's consecutive, great. That could be one of our answers. Compare it with my previous answer and store the minimum value. If it's not, check in the south direction. Then I'll check in the southeast direction, and then I'll check in the southwest direction. For Python students, is this clear? Python students, is this question clear? Do you want me to repeat any part? Can you show the code? Can you show the Java code once? Yeah, you can just, you'll have the recording. You can just go back in a bit. Don't worry. You'll have the recording. You can go to YouTube and also rewind a bit. That's not a problem. Okay. Python students, is this clear? Can we use print min of L? You can do that. All you need to do is store all the answers in an L. Stores answers in the list, and then you can do minimum of that. Somebody saying line number 16, no semicolon. So actually, you can have semicolon in Python. We don't usually, but Python can have semicolon. It will not affect anything. It will mark it as the end of the statement. So you can actually have semicolon in Python. Okay. Somebody's saying value error. Min argument is an empty sequence. I'm getting this error. In your case, you're not. If you do min of an empty thing, it will not get anything. So you have to add all of the elements into a list. So let's say, for example, if you want to do the other way, you can say something like, L dot append arri, j. If you did this append, and then finally do minimum of this L. That's what you need to do. If you're still not getting it, do reach out to the mentors. They'll help you out, either the mentors or put it on the forum. We'll check into it soon, right? Because I'll need to check your code specifically if you're having that problem. Explain once again from if statement. So see this, what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to ensure that we are taking the consecutive element. So if I look at from here, I want to come to a particular element and go east. And I discussed already the logic. What we're trying to do is we're trying to say that the next column, and then this is the column after that, right? Same thing here, next column, and then, sorry, next row, and then the row after that, right? And so on, right? So that's what we're doing. This one is southeast, this one is southwest. Now, why am I checking these things before? I'm checking these things before because I don't want to go out of bounds. If this j plus 2 is greater than n, it means there is no element, right, beyond that, because the maximum element index I will find is n only. I can n minus 1, right? Because there are n columns, so I'll find n minus 1. I cannot go beyond that. All right, so I hope that's clear. Okay, I'll go to the next one in a bit. Somebody saying, sorry to interrupt, but wanted to ask that can the level of the coding question match to the code vita question? No, InfyTQ, not really. Don't expect InfyTQ to match that level. But hack with Infy will be actually above code vita level usually. So yeah, that's a separate story, but InfyTQ do not expect. Explain line 8. Okay, this is, have you ever taken input and array in Python? Because there's a standard way of taking input in Python. So if you know how to do that, then that's the case. If you don't know, please go ahead and revise again how to take input a list in Python. This is a standard way of taking an integer list as input. Okay, awesome. Let's go to the next one. Sir, do they ask us to write codes in the interview? Yeah, they can. Although services companies generally don't. So, okay. Maximum subarray satisfying condition. We'll take that up later. That's a very, very long question. So I'll take that up later, right? Okay, somebody's asking a good question. How do I take int max? Like in Java, I did to int max. So how do I take that? In Python, I believe you have to do import math. And after that, you can just make this math dot infinity, I believe, math dot inf. That is the thing, that's infinity. Yeah, that's how you can do it. So that's the Python definition for infinity, basically, math dot infinity. Yeah, so you can just do that. Okay, so if you wanted to do the same thing in Python. Okay. Cool. Now it came in the mock. Yeah, I'll take that question. Don't worry. Just not today. It'll take us a lot of time. I'm just trying to wrap up some more easier questions first. And then that's the thing. Pronic number I have already taken. I think at some point I'll take again. But pronic number already also there's a tutorial as well, I believe. So I'll take that up. I'll take that. I want to take up a couple of different ones with different concepts than the one we've done so far. So let me take distinct numbers in window. Let me just take that one first. Where is that? You guys are mentioning distinct numbers in window. Okay, let me take this distinct number in window, and let me also take this parenthesis matching. Let me take this one. The other one, rotation instruction and all, will come to. The thing with rotation instruction, for example, is it's very similar to the one we did yesterday, which was string rotation based on squares. It's similar to that one. Okay, so we'll not take that. We'll take these distinct numbers in window first. It will help you all understand one key concept, which is of sets, and then we'll take this parenthesis matching one. Okay. So, all right, let's look at the question. You're given an array of n integers, a1 up to all the way to an, and an integer k. Return the count of distinct numbers in all windows of size k. So, for example, return an array of size n minus k plus 1, where ith element in this array contains number of distinct elements in the sequence ai to ai plus 1, so on. Okay. First of all, this is actually, I'm not sure that this is 100% an InfyTQ question. It's similar to a question asked in InfyTQ, but it's not exactly there. So it's more like a competitive programming question. Still, I'll take it up. So basically, if I take up windows of 3, it's not a difficult question to understand what the question is asking. How to do it is a separate story, but how to just understanding the question, it's not super difficult. Basically, if I take windows of 3, if I had to group all of the elements in windows of 3, how will it happen? I will have 1, 2, 1 as the first window of 3. The second window of 3 will be 2, 1, 3. The third window of 3 will be 1, 3, 4. The fourth window of 3 will be 3, 4, 3. Right, everybody? We'll get these windows of 3. Now, in this case, I have 2 unique elements. I have 3 unique elements. I have 3 unique elements. And I have 2 unique elements. Now, what is the question actually asking? all windows of size k are this, the question is asking, return this array of size this where ith element in this array contains number of distinct elements in the sequence, so on. Okay. All right, cool. So what we need to return is just this array. We need to return 2, 3, 3, 2. This should be the answer. That's basically it. So in the first way, in the first window, I had 2 unique elements, and in the next window, 3 unique elements, third window, 3 unique elements, fourth window, 3 unique elements. And I had only 4 windows. Why did I have 4 windows? Because k is 3, right? So in this, I can only form, there are only like 4 groups of 3 I can form consecutively. Okay. Now the other thing the question is saying is if k is greater than n, let's say I told you that k is 10, that means I'm looking for a window of 10. Then it's saying that return an empty array. If k is a window of 10, that is it's greater than the required the array size, then I just return an empty array. So are you all understanding, first of all, the question? Simply put, if k is 3, scan the array like this, 3 elements at a time, and check how many distinct elements are there. Is that kind of clear, everybody? Okay. Somebody saying important questions on string, that also we've already checked that. We checked that yesterday. Okay. Cool. Second. All right, cool. So please explain the question again. Okay. Simply put, k is 3. What does k3 mean? I take 3 elements at a time from the start. So what's the first set of element I can take? I can take these elements. I get 1 to 1 from that. How many unique elements are there in 1 to 1? 2. Right? So I store that. Then I say, okay, let's go to the next set of 3 elements. Next set of 3 elements is 2, 1, 3. How many unique elements are there in that? In 2, 1, 3? Not this, sir. Explain the given question, please. Okay. The question is exactly that only. You're given an array of n integers, a1 up till an, and an integer k. Return the count of distinct numbers in all windows of size k. Formally, return an array of size n minus k plus 1. Why is the array size n minus k plus 1? If you are taking k windows at a time, the array size will be n minus k plus 1. You can derive this on your own. I'll leave this to you as homework. If I want to take k windows at a time, just check how many windows you are going to get. Okay. Where ith element in this array contains the number of distinct elements in the sequence ai plus 1 to ai plus k minus 1. It's again fairly straightforward. What it's trying to say is, if I have something like this, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the ith element of this array here, let's say the answer array, the ith element of this array, let's say I take 0, 1, 2, 3. Ith element of this array is 0. Sorry, if let's say I take I as 1. So find with me number of unique elements in ai, ai plus 1, and ai plus 2. Why ai, ai plus 1, ai plus 2? Because k is 3. So I'll take only the 3 elements, which is nothing but ai, ai plus 1 all the way till ai plus k minus 1. Because I started ai. So I need to go till ai plus k minus 1. That's what formally it's asking. Always remember, everybody, if you don't get the formal language, just check the example inputs and you'll get it. In InfyTQ especially, they are not going to ask you too much formal language type questions. Right? Somebody is asking, how did I get 2, 1, 3? K is of window 3, meaning that I will split this array 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 3. I will try to split this array into windows of 3. 1, 2, 1 is the first window of 3. Then after that, I get 2, 1, 3 as the next window of 3. Then after that, I get 1, 3, 4 as the next window of 3, and so on. Is this making sense, everybody? In each of those windows, I will find the number of unique elements. How we got 2, 3, 3, 2? Okay. How many unique elements in 1, 2, 1? 2 elements. How many unique elements of 2, 1, 3? 3 elements. How many unique elements of 1, 3, 4? 3. How many unique elements of 3, 4, 3? 2. In each of the windows, I had 2, 3, 3, 2. So finally, the answer is 2, 3, 3, 2. That's what the answer is coming to. Okay. Don't complicate the question, everybody. It's as simple as find, if you're a Python student, you literally have to just slice it to the next 3 elements, find the number of unique elements, and just append that to an answer string. Okay, answer list. So the approach I'll take, the simple approach to follow over here. Do we need to go consecutively? Yes, you need to go consecutively. That is the point of the question. Okay. So what's the approach that I could follow over here, everybody? Can anybody tell me what's the approach I can follow here? Sir, please explain n minus k plus 1. No, please take this as homework. If you've done basic maths, you should be able to derive this n minus k plus 1. If you're not able to derive, I'll definitely take that up tomorrow. But can you just try to understand, spend maximum 30 minutes on this, right? So spend maximum 30 minutes on it, you'll be able to understand the why it's n minus k plus 1. Okay. So you're all writing your for loops. I didn't ask for for loop. I asked for the approach. Don't give me the code, give me the logic. Very nice. Somebody said, okay, first take input. Very nice. Okay, take input. Then after that, make window array and keep adding to set, then return the size of set. Super. So I can, starting from 0. So for starting point from 0 to which index will I go till the end? If k is 3, or let's say if there was 6 elements here, sorry, there are 6 elements. So let's say it's something like 9 to 0, 7, something like this. Okay. And then I have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm starting my window from 0. Till where should I go? Obviously, I cannot go till 9, because if I go till 9, I'm going to try to take a window of 9, 10, 11, which is not possible, right? So I should go from 0 till where? From 0 to, somebody saying k minus 1. K minus 1 would just be 2. So I'll go only till 0 to 2. I'm talking about the start point. Till where should my start point? Okay, so you're saying my start point should go to 7. Good. But for any given n and k, how do I decide where I should go? What should be the last point of mine? Okay, somebody saying n minus k plus 1. Think about it. Okay. What will be the last window like? What will be the last window like? The last window is going to look like, it's going to start at a particular point. So let's say, where does it start? Let's say it starts at n minus I. Let's say it starts at n minus I. And it will go all the way till n minus 1. The last window is going to go to n minus I to n minus 1. This window size is going to be what? Is going to be equal to k, this entire window size. Basically, I plus 1, or rather n minus I, n minus I, n minus I minus, n minus I plus 1, n minus I plus 2, all the way up till n minus 1, it's going to be k size. Other way to think of it is, you're going to have n minus 1, n minus 2. If I go backward, what is it going to be like? It's going to be like this. N minus 1. Then before that is going to be n minus 2. Then before that is going to be n minus 3. All the way, what is going to be my size of this entire thing? In the last window, this window size is k only, right? The window size is k. So I have to go till, if I go to n minus 3, I will end up getting, did I make a mistake somewhere? I think I made a mistake somewhere. So n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3. I have to go to which index to make the last one? So if n over here is 10, I will do 10 minus 1, 10 minus 2, and 10 minus 3. Correct. So I have to be at 10 minus, I have to be at n minus k, right? So I have to go to n minus k. I will end up going to n minus k, not n minus k plus 1, everybody. I have to go to n minus k. I have to keep that as my last starting point. because then n minus k plus 1, n minus k plus 2, so on, will all the time take me to n minus 1. Correct? I think this makes sense. Is it making sense to all of you? I should start from 0 and go to n minus k. Is there any reason why I should go to n minus k plus 1? Okay, if it's wrong, please tell me it's wrong. But you have to tell me something. Why should I go n minus k plus 1? Less than n minus k? No, exactly till less than n minus k. Less than equal to, till less than equal to n minus k. Or to less than n minus k plus 1. You can also do to less than n minus k plus 1. That's also fine. But it should be till less than equal to n minus k. Okay. Yeah, n minus k plus 1 will be the size of return list. Yes. And that will be the case because I'm starting from 0. Right? I'm starting from 0. So the size of that list is going to be that much. Okay. Cool. So I hope you all got that. I'll keep the starting point from 0 to n minus k. Get an subarray of start of ARR start to start plus k. Right? So from ARR start to ARR start plus k, get the subarray of that. Check number of unique elements in it. Add it to answer list. Okay, everybody? Then I go to the next start point, and then I go to the next start point, and at every new start point, I get a new subarray, check the number of unique elements in it, and add it to the answer list. Is this approach making sense, everyone? We are taking input as string. Why do you want to take input as string? Size not given of array. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Start to start plus k minus 1. That also, no, I'm not sure about that. It should be n minus k. Somebody saying sir, trees takes tree set and print size of tree set. Yeah, that all we can do. Check the number of unique elements. I'll do separately. Somebody saying start to start plus k. Why did I do this? Simply put, I want to take start from array 0 and go to start plus k, but not include it. If you remember, subarrays are like that. The subarray will be like 0, 1, 2. Right? So I want to go from start to start plus k, but not include it. So if I start at 0, I want to go up till 3, but not include it. I want to go only to 0, 1, 2. Same thing with 1. I want to go to 1, 2, 3. Do not include 4, basically. All right. Did you get that part? Okay. So let's try this out. Again, let me take up Java first, and then I'll go further into this. So, all right. Okay, we'll have to take input here separately. Let's take numbers in window. All right, let me just take, because the input is a little bit tricky here. They've not given the input. Okay, let's go ahead with that and check it out. So import java.util.scanner, right? So I'm going to run Java first int. Okay, I don't have the input, so I'll share how this can be done. So scanner scan is equal to new scanner system.in. Let's just take what the input is itself. String input is equal to scan.next int. So just next, let me just try to see, or next line itself. I just want to see what the input is given. System.out.println input. Just want to check what the input given is. Now output is 3. Okay, that's the number of test cases. Okay, so first is the number of test cases. Okay, they've not given it correctly. Okay, I'll look into this, why it's not, but looks like first is the number of test cases, int scan.next int, right? And then we will have to do while n minus minus greater than, or for int cases is equal to 0, cases less than n, cases plus plus. Then let's take the input and see what the input is given. Is that the number of cases? I don't think so though. Hold on. 6 1 2 1 3 4 3. Okay, so first line is blank. Oh wait, yeah, the same thing. Input is in string format. No, I don't think so. That's not the case. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to figure out what the input is. Int n is scan.next int. Okay, got it. Scan.next. Let me just also print out. Okay, so 3 was the initial one for whatever reason. 6 1 1 2 1. This is the size of the array, and then 3 4 3. That's fine. Then again 3, then 6. So why is this 3 coming here? What is this input 3? Oh, it's a K. Okay, I forgot the K. Yeah. There's a K also, right? Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a K as well. Got it. Okay, so overall, the input format is not written correctly over here. I'll update the input format for this. Don't worry about that. But assuming we have the correct input, right? So I just want to show you how this is in Java as well. But assuming we have the correct input, let's have a look at it. So it's actually the first line is the number of inputs, and here we do have 3 inputs. Okay, cool. So the first line, I'll tell you now what's the input format like. The first line is the number of inputs. This is number of inputs. Okay. I don't need to print the number of inputs. Then the next line after that is as follows. In the next line, the first line, and again, don't worry, I'll update the question with the input format. The first line after that is the number of elements. So for each array, you first have the number of elements in the array followed by the array. So I can say that it is, let's say I make this as int cases, let's say, and I make this, let's say, or in test cases, so that, yeah. So now let me say that int n is equal to scan.nextInt. Okay, this is the number of elements in the array. Now we have to take input the array. So I'll say int arr is equal to new int n, and then I will say for int I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, arr I is equal to scan.nextInt. Okay. If it's confusing, don't worry. I'll take the input part. Don't worry on that. I'll take the input and give it to you. We'll update the input format. You don't need to worry about the input taking part over here. Okay. Don't worry on that part. And then int k is equal to scan.nextInt. Assume that you've got your answer till here. That means that assume that you already have an array. Assume the k is given. Okay. It's a part of the problem of the question. The question has not been formatted correctly. That we'll update. But when it comes to, and the Python part is fine. So you don't need to worry about that. Okay. All right. Cases less than test cases. Yeah. So assume you already have the array of size n. Assume you already have k. After that, how do we solve it? Now let's apply our logic, which was for starting point from 0 to less than n minus k, create subarrays. Right. So that's what I'm going to do. I want to create a subarray. How do I create a subarray? In Java, you cannot just like substring, you cannot create a subarray like that. So what I'll do is I'll take the start point for int start is equal to 0. I go to start less than equal to n minus k start plus plus. That's what I'm doing. At each point, I need to take a subarray and I need to check the number of unique elements in that. So what I'll say is I'll say something like int current unique is equal to, I'll create another function unique. Let me create this function unique, which what it will take is it will take arr, it will take the starting point, it will take the ending point. Ending point over here would be start plus k. Start plus k. This will be the upper limit. Will not include start plus k, but will go up till start plus k. Right? I'll try to find the number of unique elements. And this is another function that I'm trying to write. Okay. So after I found the current number of unique elements, I'll add it to my list of answers. I'll add it to my list of answers. Now, what would be my list of answers over here? And in the output, I need to also print out the array, right? So I will also need to create int answer is equal to new int n minus k plus 1. This is given in the question, and you can also derive it. Please do derive it yourself. Why the size of the list is going to be this much. So then I will say answer of start. You can also use Arraylist. Please go ahead, right? Yeah, you can just go and use an Arraylist. That's also fine. That's not a problem. Those of you comfortable with an Arraylist, please go ahead and use that also. So ARR start is equal to current underscore unique. So it will be the number of current unique elements over here. So what am I doing here? For the zeroth, for the element starting at the 0th index, how many unique elements do we have? For the element starting at the first index, how many unique elements do we have? For the window starting at the second index, how many unique elements do we have? And so on, right? So that's what we're doing here. Okay. After we are done with that, I have to print out the entire array, right? So I have to actually print out. I have to print it like this. Okay. Yeah. There's a problem in this question a little bit, but we'll do it. Don't worry. Let me. Is this the same level of questions? So this question formatting is off. That's why you're feeling like that. The formatting is a bit off, but it's actually a simple question. I'll show it in Python. It's quite simple there. So yeah, we have to give this thing as output. We have to actually write this and then also give it as output over there. Right. So again, everybody, don't worry about the output part. That I'll just take care of it at this point. You don't need to worry about that part currently. Let me just take care of the output part. Okay, and then okay, all right, we did that. Output, and then again this thing. Okay, this is the output format. Again, you don't need to worry about this one. Ideally, the question should have had this, but I'll update that part. Okay, so this is the major logic part for you all. Imagine that the answer was given, or rather not the answer, the input was given. We have to create a new array for the answers. We have to go through each start point and try to figure out the number of unique elements from that start to start plus k. Okay, for that, let's create another function, which is public static int. I'm going to return the number of unique elements. Unique int ARR, int start, and int end. For this ARR from start to end, how many unique elements are there? Right. So from start to end, how many unique elements are there? I'm going to take that up. For that, what will I use? I can just use a hash set, right? As we discussed yesterday, I can use a hash set. Can we use nested for loop? You can also do that. But one of the easy ways is just add all the elements from start to end into a hash set and check the size of the hash set, or a tree set, or a linked hash set, whichever. All of them will give unique elements, right? So hash set integer, if the HS is equal to new hash set integer, right? And then I say for int I equal to 0, I less than I is equal to start, I less than end, I plus plus, less than end, because we pass start plus k, so we have to go to less than end. HS dot add. What are we going to add in this? We're going to add ARR I, right? So I'm just going to add all the elements. It will only take unique elements. So what I want to do is I want to return HS dot size. Okay, HS dot size. I want to return the size of this hash set because that's the number of unique elements that are there. Okay, cool. Then I'm going through and printing the. Right. Then what I'm doing is that's returning the number of unique elements. I'm just adding to the answer array over here, and then I'm printing out. Why am I trying to print out like this? This is because the output format, it was a little bit problematic. I'll fix that on the platform, don't worry. And the Python one is much better. So, all right, cool. 43, line 43, what is the issue? Less than answer dot length, I plus plus. 243. Okay, got it. Don't know why that extra bracket came out from nowhere. Okay. All right, cannot find symbol hash set. Okay, we have to probably import. We just do util.star. So that will import that. Negative array size exception. Okay, interesting. Which was this case. So we got this output for that. We got that output. Just give me 1 second, everybody. Yeah, so we got that output, and then after that we're getting an error probably. Okay, there's a default case as well. Yes, there's a default case. We didn't look at the case where if k is greater than n. So if k is greater than n, we should just print an array size and go forward. Absolutely correct. We didn't look at that. K is scan.next int. If over here itself, we should look at it. If k, but then, okay, if k is greater than n, if k is greater than n, then you should just return, you should just not print anything. So the output answer is n minus k plus 1. Okay, yeah, then got it. So if k less than equal to n is the time we'll actually compute all of this. If k less than equal to n, we'll compute all of this. K less than equal to n, we'll compute this stuff. Okay. If k is greater than n, then what we'll simply do is, if k greater than n, so at the time of output, I simply don't print out anything. I just print out a blank line. Else, let me print out the entire answer array. Sorry for that. Yeah. Let me try to run this. Cannot find symbol answer dot length. K is this, input and so on, output is this. 1 second. This whole formatting thing is the reason we're getting into this trouble. K less than equal to n, then only we create this. Okay. What is the error over here? Line 47. Otherwise, it's not able to find. Okay, cool. But then why is it not? Because of the local scoping. Got it. Yeah. Got it. We'll just do it like this. We'll declare the array at least. Yeah. Might not have been initialized. Yikes. Okay. Just initialize it to 0 at least. Well, 0 also does not work, but at least okay, cool. So we got something here. Spelling of output was wrong, no? So it should be. Now I think it should work. And still, what's the difference? It is in the spacing of it, I guess. I think, yeah, after this output, we've already given one spacing. How many more spacing should we give? Oh, okay. It will again give us that because this is now giving too many spacing. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Got it. All right. This Java code was unnecessarily long, and for all the Java students, my apologies. My apologies for this entire thing. This entire block is wrong. It should not be there because it is actually supposed to be the system is supposed to do the input and output. You are supposed to just get a method, actually, just like the Python student supposed to just get a method. I'll update this one. I don't think this is right, but anyway, just to tell you the core logic of the question. So just to you all understand, right? So just to give you the core logic of the question. The logic of the question is as follows. I assume that you already have the input k and n and so on. So in that case, what you need to do is start at 0, go till n minus k, start at 0, go up till n minus k. And at that point, make sure that you're continuously checking the sub array for the number of unique elements. How do you check for unique elements? I go from start to start plus k and keep adding them to a set. The moment I've added it all to a set, I check the size of that set, return that size of the set. It gives me the number of unique elements in that set. All right. And that's it. So I'm just keeping on adding that to a list. And I return that list. It will be clearer in, so somebody's saying without creating array of n minus k elements, we add elements to tree set and tree set dot clear for every I increment and add elements to tree set and print size. You can do that also. You can do that also. You don't need to create a list. You can also just print it. That's also fine. You don't need to do that. Okay, I'll just show it in Java. In Python, you'll just understand the logic much clearer. All right. So B here, K here is equal to B, by the way. So K is the second one, and A is the array that they've given. Simply put, I need to start at 0, right? So I'm going to do for start in range. I need to start at 0 and go till where n minus k is the last part, right? So I need to go less than equal to n minus k. So I'll go to n minus k plus 1 so that I end up getting to n minus k. Okay. So I end up going to n minus k. In Python, I have to always give plus 1 to that. Okay. Now, when I start from this, I will take the current sub array is equal to, how do I do the slicing? I will do the a from start to start plus k, right? I'm going to do that. Here, I didn't need to take any input or anything because it's already given in the method to me. Once I've done that, once I've taken the current subarray over here, what do I do next after that? I have to see how many are unique elements in this. So how can I check the number of unique elements? Simply put, I can say current unique elements is equal to whatever is the size of the set if I converted this subarray. So if I converted the subarray to a set, what would be the size of that? That's the set, that's the size of my current unique elements. Let me also create an answer list. And then I say answer dot append current underscore unique. Okay, answer dot append current unique. And then after this, I will return answer. That's probably all you need to do. N is not defined. 1 second. N. Yeah. So this would be len of a minus 1 since n is not defined. Okay. That works. And if you submit it, also works. It's that simple. It's nothing much you have to do. In Java, we have to unnecessarily the input and output code because there's something wrong in the back end of that code. But for this one, for the Python one, it's correct. And simply put, we just applied our logic. What is the logic? K is equal to B. This is basically, I just made sure that it's K. I like the variable K. Answer is the list. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the 0th index, go up till n minus k. Hence, I did n minus k plus 1. So that I end up at n minus k. For each subarray, what we're going to do is we're going to take the set of it and check the size of the set. Once we got the size of the set, then we just appended it to our answer. Is this clear, everybody? For the Python students, at least, is this clear? Somebody saying in the exam, same level questions will come, or it will be more difficult than the ones you have solved in this course. So all of the questions that you solved in the course are all taken from past experiences of InfyTQ only. So it's the same level. Now, will they come more difficult? You should ask the question setter. I am not the question setter. That's somebody at the company. So you should ask them, right? And not me. And I mean, they will not tell you, obviously. So this is the expected level, but if it comes more difficult or easier than this, then we don't know, right? So that's the thing. All right, cool. So what else, everyone? Okay. Shall we move on to the next one? Sir, is the difficulty level of question asked by other service company lesser than InfyTQ? Roughly same level of InfyTQ, roughly the same level, more or less here and there, give or take, plus minus 10%, roughly the same level. All right, shall we go to the next one, everybody? All right, last question for the day. Let's look at the last question for the day, and then we'll come again tomorrow. The next set of questions. Okay, one student is saying yes. What about others? You guys still here or not? Parenthesis matching. How many of you want to do the question parenthesis matching? Generate password. I think I've done that already, but we'll take that up. Parenthesis matching is very simple. Somebody saying it is. So we'll quickly look at it. Okay. I look at the logic of parenthesis matching, everybody. The implementation you'll find almost anywhere, but let me just look at it. So can you explain maximum subarray satisfying condition? Yes, tomorrow we'll take up the entire thing. It's a good 1 hour explanation of that. So I'll take that. It's a long question. Okay. You're given as input a string INSTR, which contains only parentheses. INSTR will have many such brackets nested in each other. Your task is to find out if they're balanced or not. Okay, so this is a very typical question of stacks. A super typical question of stacks, in which all you do is so this you'll find almost everywhere, including on the Edyst platform. I'll actually not do this one right now because it's too typical. Like, I mean, it is like it is one of the first things you learn in stacks. I will give you the logic for it, right? I'll give you the logic for it, but I'll not take it up. So basically the way this question works is that, so somebody's saying the only problem here is you have to return the index of imbalance. That's also not a problem as such, right? That's really not a problem, because in the usual approach, what do you do? Okay, let me just take an example here. In the usual approach, what do? You say if it's balanced or unbalanced, right? In the usual approach, you'll say it's balanced or unbalanced. So for instance, if you have something like this, the way to solve it, balanced parentheses, the usual way to solve this one is, all right, is, let's say if this is the index is 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's say these are the indexes given to you. Okay. What is the usual way? You will keep adding them to a stack. If it's an open bracket, you'll add to a stack. If it's a closed bracket, you will check the top of the stack and you'll pop out if they're corresponding. Very typical thing. Again, it's on the Edyst platform also. You can also check it out elsewhere. But if it's an open bracket, add it to the stack. So let me maintain a stack here. This is a stack. Again, open bracket, add it to the stack. Then I got a closed bracket here. When I got the closed bracket, I need to pop only if the top of the stack is corresponding to me. So here, what do I get? I get there is a square bracket. This round bracket cannot pop out a square bracket. So I got an error, right? What you need to maintain with, so this is basically, it's unbalanced. Okay, it's unbalanced. But rather, if it was something like, let's say, let it was something like this, which is balanced. Okay, the way that would work is you would add to a stack. So you'd add this open bracket, add to a stack, square bracket, add to a stack, curly braces, add to a stack, square braces, add to a stack. You got a closed square brace here, which is fine because on top you had a closed square bracket. So you can pop it out. Then comes a closed curly braces. Again, pop it out. Comes an open round bracket, add to the stack, closed round bracket, remove this one because the closed round bracket pops out the top one. Closed square bracket, again you can pop out the top one. Closed round bracket can pop out the top element. Now my stack is empty. If at the end of this entire procedure, if my stack is empty, means that my entire expression was balanced. Okay, is that clear, everybody? Like this is a, go ahead and just read the stacks tutorials on Edyst. You'll get this. It's a fairly standard problem. Okay. The only difference here is I do not know which index the imbalance is happening, right? If there is an imbalance, I need to know the index. So the simple thing you can do is maintain two stacks. Okay. One stack maintains the brackets, the other stack maintains the index of that bracket. So for example, if I look at this one, I maintain two stacks. One stack is this, the other stack is, it's maintaining 0, 1. Okay. Then when I try to add this one, I'm trying to pop out from where? I'm trying to pop out from the top, right? So when I try to pop out from the top, it's not allowing me to pop out, meaning that which index was the imbalance? It's at 2, the next index that was coming in, right? So it was 2. So you can kind of maintain that basically. That's all you need to do. So here also first imbalance occurs at position 3. Why is that the imbalance? Because this round bracket was not supposed to come. So don't use the index. You can use the index plus 1, 3. That's it, right? Whenever you have, so just maintain this on the stack, maintain the indexes also. Maintain a separate stack for indexes. You'll be able to get the answer. Okay. All right. But otherwise, it's a fairly standard approach. I'll not get into this one. It's a fairly standard approach. Let me look at another question which could be helpful to you guys. So let me just check. Somebody saying largest even number. I think we're already taking this. We have to use another stack for the indexes. Yes. What are the edge cases? The edge cases is only that you start with, let's say you start with a closed. Let's say I start with this. It's an empty stack. How do I even pop out from an empty stack? You can't, right? That's one of them. Second one is you have something like this. And then you have an open. So what's going to happen? All of these will get popped out except this one. It will not get popped out. So you still have to check the stack at the end. Okay, cool. All right, so let me take another one. Somebody's asking largest number. Again, that's also a simple logic. I think I did that a couple of days back, but still it's a simple logic. But let's take that actually. Let's take that. You know what? Let's just take that largest even number from string. Yeah, let's take largest even number from string. Let's close with this rotation instruction. I'll take tomorrow. The reason I'm not taking the rotation instruction now is we anyways did one question yesterday, which was very similar to the rotation instructions. So let's take this one, largest even number from string. Take as input a string. The string is a mixture of letters, integers, and special characters. From the string, find the largest even number that can be possibly formed after removing all the duplicates. If an even number is not formed, then return -1. Okay. So let's take this example. First things first is it's a multi-step question. Multi-steps. First things first is, let's say this is the input. This is the input that we have. Okay. From this input, what I need to do is I need to first of all remove, I take only numbers. Don't take any of the other elements. I want to take only numbers. So I will be left with 8, 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 9. Then what I need to do is take only the unique elements. So if I take only the elements, unique elements, I'm left with 8, 2, 3, 4, 9. Okay. So first things first, take only digits. Then take only unique digits. So 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 1. Let's say these are the unique digits left. All right. So far, have you understood, everybody? So far, did you guys understand it? Okay. Then what we need to do is we need to find out the largest even number that you can form with these numbers. So what's the largest even number that you can form with these numbers? So largest even number that I can form with this is probably 9, 8, 4, 3, 1, 2, right? So the largest even number I can form with these digits. Somebody saying we can sort them in descending order. If you sort them in descending order, you'll get 9, 8, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is not the largest even number. I want the largest even number, which is 9, 8, 4, 3, 1, 2. So 9, 8, 4, 3, 1, 2. That's the answer. Okay. Cool. So the first two parts are just the cleaning part, right? First two part is cleaning part. So how do I actually take the largest even number? How do I form the largest even number? Largest even number. How do I form it? Well, some of you are saying sort in descending and swap last digit with the minimum even number. First of all, it might so happen that, okay, I'm not confirming that, but it might so happen that we don't even have an even number. If that's the case, then we return -1. If it's not even possible to have an even number, then I return -1. Okay, fair enough. Is this the way? Let's look at some example. Let's say, what's the largest even number I can form with this? 89713. Right. So largest even number I can form is 97318. Right. So if I sort in descending order, what I'll get is 98731. And then you're saying that swap the last digit with the minimum number. So that would be 1 and 8 over here. But that's not the largest number, right? So if I follow this logic, which you guys have proposed, then I will be in trouble, right? Because if I sorted in descending order, I got 98731. And then I swapped the last number with the minimum even number, which was this, which would be wrong, correct? Keep swapping with adjacent numbers until even. Not really. No, what you should do is take out the minimum even number from this. The minimum even number here would be 8 and swap the remaining ones in descending order. Take out the minimum even number because that will do the least harm to us. Take out the minimum even number. In this case, I took out the minimum even number. So let's say in this case, if I take out, it becomes 83491 and 2 is the minimum even number. Then I sort this in descending order. I'll get 98341. Sorry, 98431. And then you add 2 to it. Okay. Similarly, over here, I can sort it in. So I take out the minimum even number. So it becomes 9713 and then 8. Take out the minimum even number. Sort it in descending order 9731 and then 8 comes in at the end. Okay. Clear? All right. So find minimum even number, remove from list, sort list in descending order, append minimum number to list. All right. Okay, so let's look at the implementation. Let's first do the cleaning part. Let's go in Java. Let's take input first of all. So we have to take all of that other stuff also, right? Very quickly. Right, so public static void main string args. Why am I blanking out? Okay, scanner scan is equal to new scanner system.in. All right. Take the string as input. So scan.next is the string. I'd say string, let's say word. I call that word. I take scan string word is equal to scan.next. So I took that word as input. First things first is I need to take only the digits. That's it. I don't need to take anything else. I need to take only the digits. How can I do that? How can I take only the digits from this? Any idea how I'll clean this? I don't want anything else. I just want only digits. That's it. ASCII value, somebody saying, okay. Yeah, I can do ASCII value as well. And is digit, okay, is numeric. All right, guys, these methods you need to know. If you want to use it, you should know these methods in and out. I don't remember these methods because I don't really use that as much. I try to do other ways, but yeah, there's a function called replace and all. You don't really need to do all of that. Okay, let me show you how I would do it. For int I is equal to 0, I less than word length I plus plus. All right. There are two ways of doing this. One second. Okay, so we'll do it in this way. All right, string, let's say number. I'll say string number, right? Because that's the string that we want finally, correct? So that's the clean string. So what I'll try to say is if word dot char at I greater than equal to 0, because it's a character, right? And word dot char at I. So because I don't remember the ASCII value exactly, I'm just trying to compare it to the ASCII values of 0 and 9. These are the only digits you can have. There are no other digits in the English decimal thing, right? So if that is the case, if this is there, then num is equal to num plus num dot substring I comma I plus 1. And we discussed this yesterday of how you can take the element at a particular index I using the substring function. Okay, cool. So I did this, num is equal to num plus and so on. Let's just print out the number just to see if you've actually cleaned it or not. Okay, so just trying to see if we've cleaned it. Word dot char at, it should be word dot char at I only, but did I make a mistake? Line 12. Num is equal to num plus word of, no, that is not really needed. Word dot length scan dot next I plus 1. No, that's also not a problem. 1 second. We made a mistake somewhere. Strings out of bound exception, begin 7, begin 6, end 7. Okay. End 7. Yeah, end 7. And this was 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's fine. Num is equal to num plus what? Yeah, I know you can do that. I want to know why this is wrong. That's all. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going up till 9. So why does begin 6, end 7, and length 0? The length is 0. Okay, 1 second. Did we? Let me just check system out.println word. Oh, okay. My bad. I did the, it's not num dot substring, it's word dot substring. That was the issue I did. My bad. It is word dot substring. Thank you all. Yeah. See, even I can get caught in those errors. Okay. So anyway, we got 5577 as the string, right? So that's the thing. We cleaned it. We only got 5577. Cool. Okay. So we got 5577. Now after 5577, I need to take that number and have only the unique elements in it. I don't want all the elements. I want only the unique elements of it. Okay. How do I get only the unique elements of it? One of the simple things you can do is you can just do a set, right? You can create a set out of it. You can do that. Another way that you can do that is just trying to think, is there a better way of doing that? Okay, we can just use a set over here. So let me just use a set. So let's say hash set string to the new hash set string. Yes. Hash set will not store in any order. It's not going to store in any sorted order or anything. Okay. So then I'll go through the string for, string, or for rather, again, the same thing as we did here. We'll have to kind of do the same thing, except this time it will be num. So for int I is equal to 0, I less than num dot length, I plus plus. Why are you using hash set? Why I'm not using any other set? Simply, I mean, because I just care about the uniqueness. I'm not caring about anything else, and it's the least number of words to type. So that's why I'm using it. Tree set also you could use. Hash set is the fastest though. That's why. Hash set is the fastest among the three. Okay. So hs dot add num dot substring I comma I plus 1. Here it will be num because I'm going through the num. So I add all of it to my hash set. Now my hash set has basically only unique elements. Now I'll go through all the unique elements and I can again add it back to my num, right? So let's say I again say num is equal to blank, because now I don't have any use for it. I want only the unique elements. So for string I, or let's say string x in hash set, num is equal to num plus x, right? And I'll just print out this num just to show you all. That I'm getting the unique element 57. I'm getting this unique element here, right? So I added over here. Okay, that all is fine. Now we have to do the actual stuff. So this was all the cleaning part, right? And in Java, generally speaking, string cleaning is a little bit of a pain, but we finished it. We got the string cleaning. Now, after I've done the cleaning, what should I do after this? I should sort it in descending order, right? And get the minimum even number out of it. Okay, cool. How do I do that? How do I get the minimum even number, and how do I get the, so what I can do is I can, instead of adding it back to a string, I don't need a string again. I can actually create an array list. I'll actually use an array list so that sorting will become easier. Array list string, let's say nums is equal to new array list string. Okay. And once I go through this hash set, I will add all of them to this nums only. So I'll say nums dot add integer dot parse int x. I'll convert it to an integer, right? So far, is everybody following what I'm doing here? I took this nums list. In that nums list, it should be an integer, by the way. This also should be an integer. This also should be integer. So I cleaned the number till here. Now from this hash set, I'm taking all of the elements but converting them to an integer and adding it to the nums list. Is it clear so far? So difference between linked list and array list, a lot of difference, right? But array list, you have an index, so that's the thing. Indexing, that's a thing. So all right, then yeah, we can sort it. How do you, okay, let's do collections.sort nums. So now this is sorted in ascending order. This is sorted in ascending order over here, right? What help was this of sorting in ascending order to me? So one thing I can do is, instead of waiting, what I can very easily do is something like this. Int current is equal to integer dot parse int x. Okay. And then I will add this to my numbers. See, remember what I need to do is, let me just bring back to the logic. Find minimum even number, remove that from the list, and then sort the list in descending order. Okay. So let me try to find the minimum even number. Okay, how do I find the minimum even number? So this is my current value. Let my integer minimum be equal to some big number, and I say if current less than minimum, then minimum is equal to current value. Okay, with this I will find the minimum number, but I don't want to just find the minimum number. I also want to find the number that is divisible by 2 because I want the minimum even number. So I say and current modulo 2 equal to 0. So let me take this as an odd number. Okay, so if current is less than minimum and current modulo 2 is less than is equal to 0, then the minimum is current. Now if I come here, if minimum is still equal to this value, if minimum is equal to this, then I can safely say I don't have an even number. Print out like this. Else what I'll do is I will do nums dot remove current. I'll remove the minimum even number. I will sort the array. How do I sort in reverse order, everybody? Can anybody tell me how do I sort in reverse order? Okay, or I can do one simple thing. Let me just sort it, but in traversing I'll do it in reverse order. That's also something I can do if you guys don't remember this. So I can just do collections dot sort nums. Okay, cool, you guys have it. So collections dot reverse order. Java is a very verbose language in that way. Okay, cool. So I did this, I sorted this number in the reverse order, and then now I can do for int I in nums. Simply speaking, system.out.print I in the reverse order, and then print out the min value. Sorry, this is nums.remove min, by the way. Yeah, and then print out the min value like this. Let's just try this out. X over here. Sorry, not even X, it should be current over here. Okay, so this one passes, and okay, we are doing something wrong. Hold on. Let me take a custom input and just see very quickly. What was this one? Let's just check this. What's the output for this? Nine eight four two one two. It's what it's showing. 984,212. It should not be that. It should be 984,312. So I think, is this reverse working out? Sorry, is this nums.remove min working out? It is. Nine eight four. Why is it showing 212 and not 312? Two is repeating. That's not really the problem here. Let's actually check this nums as well. For int I in nums. Let's just check if we're getting a unique element or not. Yeah, 1 2 3 4 8 9. So this is fine. So that is fine. 1 2 3 4 8 9. That's fine. I believe the removal is not having proper, is not getting removed properly. It's getting removed by index, whereas it should be removed by. Yeah, it's getting removed by index. Yeah, it's taking index over there. That's the problem, right? It's removing the index, whereas it should be removing the yeah. How do I remove the particular element? I think I'll have to do something like this. You have to take the object Yeah, now it works out, right? So you have to actually take the object minimum. That's the thing you'll have to take. Or yeah, you'll have to actually take the object minimum because Arraylist will need that to do it. And yeah, so let me just take that over here. Right, passes the test cases, and submission also now works. So when you do ArrayList.remove, don't remove it by, if you're removing an integer, don't just remove the integer. You have to remove the integer object. That's one of the issues. So you have to remove the integer object of it. Don't just remove this. Okay, cool. So we just implemented. Java students, any doubts? Java students, then I'll do the Python part. But Java students, any doubts? Clear? All right, I'll quickly do this in Python. It's very quick in Python. So, okay, so I'll revise this also. Take the input. After I've taken the input, go through and only keep those words, only keep those particular. Can the Java students leave? Yeah, up to you guys. But only keep those strings. Again, repeating, this is the word you take as input. Then you go through the string, only keep those strings that are actually integers, right? Those are that are actually digits. So I just kept those strings, those which are actually digits. After that, add them all to a set, so that I get only unique elements. So I add them all to a hash set. Somebody had a very good idea as well. Somebody said that, hey, since the digits will be between 0 to 9, you can just go through the entire set and you can go through the entire string and check if 0 is existing, is 1 existing, is 2 existing. That would be faster than rather than going through the entire string, taking zeros and 9 and then again taking duplicates, right? So that's one thing. Up to you how, if you want to do it that way also. After I've done that, I will make sure that I add all the strings to a set. Then I will get a unique bunch of digits. With those unique bunch of digits, add them all to a array list, sort it. While you're adding to them to an array list, make sure that you take the minimum index as well. Oh, sorry, the minimum number as well. The minimum even number. Take the minimum even number. That's what I'm doing here. If current less than minimum and current modulo to equal to 0, minimum is current. So I took the minimum even number. Then what I'm doing is remove the minimum even number, sort the array in reverse order, and then print all of them, and then finally print the minimum even number. Okay. Clear? Java students, is this part clear? Everybody? Okay. Let me go to the Python part. Let me quickly go to the Python part. It'll be much faster in Python because Python has really good string support. So again, word is equal to input. Okay. Take that particular word. I want to remove all non-strings. So I'll go into, I'll create a num string. Okay. Nums is a string right now. So I'll say nums is, let's say, a string. And I'll say for I in word. So this is, I'm going through every element in word. If I in, this will be easier. So if I as an element is a digit at all, if it's in this string, then you do nums is equal to nums plus I. Okay. And even better, because we have to sort this nums list, what we can in fact do is nums is equal to, I can create this as a list. Okay. And I can say nums is equal to nums dot append int of I. I convert that I to an integer and then I print, and then I append it to this nums list. So at the end of it, when I do print nums, what I will actually end up getting is, 1 second, sorry. Yeah, not nums is equal to, just nums dot append. Yeah. But by the end of it, when I go and printing, I will get a list 5577. It's all the digits from here converted to an integer and added to a nums list. Okay, cool. So I did print nums. I don't need to print nums. I have a list of nums, but now those nums have to be unique. So I can say nums is equal to set of nums. This makes it a unique set, but I still need a list of it, right? So I can do nums is equal to list of nums again, it will become a list. Again, when I print nums, what I get is 5, 7 unique elements. Why? I convert it to a set and then I again converted it to a list. Then what do I want to do? I want to find the minimum even number. So let's say the minimum number, let's say minimum is equal to some very big number. Go through the entire list. So for, let's say, I in nums, if I modulo 2 equal to 0 and I less than minimum, minimum is equal to I. So this way I found the minimum number from the list. Now what do I want to do? I'll say, okay, minimum I have, I should remove the minimum from the list. How do I do that? I do nums.pop minimum. So I remove the minimum number from the list, sort this list in descending order, nums.sort reverse is equal to true, sorted in reverse order, and then at the end append the minimum again. Finally, for I in nums, print I, end is equal to space, not space, nothing at the end, and then at the end print a new line. If I run this, nums.pop, okay, sorry, not pop, how do I do it? I think here also is nums.remove, right? Minimum. If I wanted to just remove that element, yeah. X not in list, okay. How can X not be in list? All right, okay. If we didn't look at the case of there is no -1, right? So if I still is equal to this, or rather if minimum is still equal to this, then you just print -1, right? Because I could not find a single minimum number in this array. Right? Let me just make it like this. I could not find a single minimum number, so I need to print -1. Else I can do the other stuff. So I submit this, it will work out. Okay. So this is the Python example. Again, what did I do? First took input, went through the entire word, checked if there are digits, only the digits one I'm appending to my nums. Then after that, convert that to a set to make it unique elements, convert that to a list to get a list of elements, take the minimum number, try to find the minimum odd number. If I found the minimum odd number, great. If I didn't find it, print -1. If I found it, then what I'm going to say is remove the minimum number, sort the array in reverse order, append the minimum number again to the list. All right. Finally, print the list. Is this clear, everybody? Is this part clear? So just give me a quick recap of what all we have done today. Everybody. Let's do a quick recap of what all we've done today. What is the first thing we started with, everyone? If you want me to repeat this Python solution, let me know. But otherwise, please do give me a quick recap. All right. Yes, consecutive numbers in matrix. What else? Jog your memories. What did we do next after that? We looked at parentheses matching logic. Then we said we also looked at unique numbers in a window. All right. And then finally we looked at largest even number from string. Okay. So that's what we did today. Somebody wanted me to just repeat the -1 case. The -1 case is basically if I don't, like in this case, in the run case, if there is no even number, here you have only 5 and 7. If there is no even number, then how can you form the largest even number? So what did I do here? I basically said that, okay, assume my minimum number is this. I'll go through the entire list. If I find a number which is less than my minimum number and is even, I will update it. So by the time I finish this for loop, if my minimum number is still the previous odd number, it means that I could not find a single minimum digit, meaning that you cannot form an even number, meaning that I will print -1. Does that solve your doubt, the person who asked this? Okay. All right, everybody. So we'll pause here. That was a long session, and our sessions will keep getting longer as InfyTQ comes closer. So, right, everybody, that's it from our side today. This is the recap of what all we did today. Tomorrow we will discuss a few, we'll wrap up some of the MCQs as well, and we'll look at some more coding questions. So let me know what all coding questions you would like to discuss. Please, you can email us at team@edyst.com, or let us know. This video is also there on YouTube. Just let us know in the comments on the YouTube channel as well what questions you would like us to discuss in tomorrow's session, and we'll happily do that. All right. Okay, then. Thank you all, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you all next time. Thank you.